Hi, I'm Jim Wangerman, and in 2024, I will celebrate my 50th year as a Rotarian. Rotary has always been deeply personal to me, as I was one of the thousands of people in the world who suffered from polio as a child. I'm proud to say that I'm part of the solution, having been president of the Almaden Valley Club in 1981-82, becoming a Paul Harris Fellow for the first time in 1983. Most of my children and grandchildren are also Paul Harris Fellows. In May of 1949, less than 5 years after the end of World War II, in a city located 55 miles east of San Francisco, with a population of just under 1,700, a group of local businessmen started the Rotary Club of Brentwood. And with the sponsorship of the Concord and Antioch clubs, these 12 men set forth on a journey that has mirrored the city of Brentwood itself to this day. Rotary's motto is service above self. Brentwood Rotaries is equally simple: do good and have fun doing it. Occasionally we disagree, sometimes loudly, with each other, but we always come together to do what's best for the greater good of the club, the city, and East County. While all of these charter members are no longer with us, all Brentwood Rotarians that followed have stood on their broad and strong shoulders. In this video, we are going to take a brief walk down memory lane with some of our past presidents as they share what it was like to lead what we believe is the most dynamic Rotary Club in the world. Brentwood Rotary also boasts an impressive roster of active past presidents from other Rotary clubs who are able to add another distinct feature and creativity to our club. During this video, we are going to take a walk down the first 75 years of our club through the eyes of those who have led us. We hope you enjoy it.
Oh, what do I remember about my year as president? Well, I'm currently still in my year. So the one thing that I would say probably most, that comes to mind the most, is that we have just accomplished so much this year as far as raising money, having a lot of projects in the community, and just putting in a lot of time and effort into everything that we've been doing, and just having a lot of fun.
It is very difficult to pick one favorite memory from my year as president. It's such a whirlwind experience with a lot of great events and moments. However, there is one thing that comes to mind. One of our meetings fell on Halloween, and so we planned a fun social in lieu of our regular club meeting agenda. And I was just surprised at the level of participation from our club. We had 40 to 50 members dress up in costume. People that we typically see in a suit and tie or a dress came out in a very fun costume, and it was just really a great time. Of course, we're a service organization first and foremost, but through the camaraderie that we build through participating in what we do, we definitely build some friendships and have some fun along the way, and so that was a fun day.
What we were able to do in my year was establish elections and get everybody involved, let them see a path to their opportunity to serve as president. And then Olga Vidrialis, President Olga, was the first president to be elected by the club, and that was a great memory.
You know, I think what I'm most proud of when I became president is that the Rotary Club of Brentwood completely changed their election process. So we went from a tap on the shoulder to true elections. So I was actually the first president, Latina president, to go through an election where the club members actually voted on their next president.
So in every one of my meetings, I told a joke. It wasn't a dad joke, it wasn't a sappy joke. And I spent quite a bit of time actually every Sunday afternoon searching the internet for good, clean, actually funny jokes, and would always deliver that. And then shift the mood of the meeting to a little bit more serious right after that to do a Rotary Minute video. They'd be a minute, 2 minutes, 3 at the very most, and they'd show what other clubs around the world were doing, and it sort of centered the mood of the meeting back to Rotary.
I never really grew up in a sense of community service orientated with my family, but throughout my years as being a Rotarian, being able to pass that down to my kids, that's what it's been all about. And my kids now, they serve communities or want to volunteer. I'll never forget my little one used to say she wants to go to rodeo with me. She couldn't pronounce Rotary, but she would say, I want to go to rodeo with you, Dad.
What do I remember about my year as president? It was a global pandemic and a time of a lot of uncertainty, and also a time for, when it came to Rotary, people coming together when they were otherwise being pushed apart. So I remember an excitement and a coming together of our club and our community that was beyond anything I ever would have imagined.
At the end of the year, we always have a demotion party. It's sort of a roast of the president. And David Blumen was the past president, and he roasted me, and it was a fun night, and it was nice to turn it over, presidency over to another person. It was George Dunn that followed me. So, but yeah, that was a fun night.
Part of my feeling or commitment to what I felt I needed to do was make sure people had a good time at the meetings. Because if they didn't, they were giving up their lunch, and largely business owners and things like that didn't necessarily have time.
One of my favorite memories of Brentwood Rotary has got to be the fellowship and the friendships that I've gained. We've done a lot of fun things. We used to go on a ski trip and compete with other clubs in the district. All the social events that we've had, the fundraising. There's just been a lot of good camaraderie and good friendship and fellowship throughout the years.
I don't have any favorite memory. What stands out mostly, and it happened actually the year after I was president, is when the Rotary International allowed women to join, and I sponsored the first woman into the club. Her name was Rose Costa with a K, and she was the manager of the Wells Fargo Bank. Her father was a Rotarian in Berkeley, and Rose, when she was in school, was selected as a student of the month. So she kind of made a full circle from high school into adult life.
What we accomplished during my year as president was the completion of an international grant to build 2 emergency rooms at Mercy Hospital in India. It was a $375,000 international grant headed up by our international chair, Jay McLaughlin. And I talked to him today, and he said that the effects of that grant are still being felt today in India.
I just like helping people, and that's something that Rotary does. We're an organization of ordinary men and women trying to do extraordinary things for other people, not only here locally, but around the world as well. A couple of our Rotarians, one of them just after my presidency, he joined Rotary during my year, but David Wall and his wife Karen went to Africa on a polio immunization. So they actually went there and walked in the backcountry and immunized these kids. And that was something that's just part of our club that I'm very proud of. And we've had another Rotarian, Mike Crosby and Marcia Brown went to India a few years back and did a polio immunization as well. So that's what Rotary's about, really, is helping other people. And what Rotary kind of became famous for was helping eradicate polio around the world. They were one of the driving forces along with the World Health Organization. Rotarians have gone around the world immunizing people, as well as raising millions and millions of dollars to help pay for that. So it's an amazing organization.
The ski trips. Donna and I had had a cabin in Tahoe, and we the clubs, they had a Rotary ski challenge up in Tahoe, and I remember opening up our place, and a bunch of members came up and did the Rotary ski trip. And I remember the first night we were there, because they were doing the putting all the ages down, and I found I was the oldest of the members, and I was like, that was really depressing.
It's a chance to give back. I've been blessed in this life, and it's an honor to be able to give back and help to improve the lives of others who aren't so fortunate. It's a great organization. We're doing great work throughout the world, and it's an honor to be a part of it.
The best experience within Rotary is knowing that you're not just focused on yourself every day of your life, but you're part of a bigger connection, a big wheel, as they say.
It was joyful. I think the club was really joyful that year. We were really excited to be able to do things that maybe we had taken for granted before. And so when we were able to go out and work in a senior's home and do some small repairs, that had a special meaning that maybe we didn't take as seriously before. When we were able to do a fundraiser and raise money for local scholarships for high school students going to college, that had a special significance that maybe we took for granted before.
And at that time, computers and having an electronic newsletter was becoming the thing. And I kind of would listen to Vince, and it's like, well, we'll see what we can do, Vince, knowing that the group was going to go to an electronic newsletter. So on my first meeting, what I did was I took a newsletter and I shellacked it to some stone plates, and I presented it to Vince, saying, Vince, here you go, it's a newsletter. We are now moving on to electronic newsletters. And he was so excited. I'm sure to this day, those stone newsletters are somewhere in his yard or in his things, but bless his heart, he really took it really well, and he was pretty excited about it. So I will never forget that first day of my presidency.
My brother-in-law, who is a Rotarian up in Chico, his club always took 25 needy children shopping at a department store in Chico. And he said that was a very worthwhile event. So I started it at Mervyn's here the year I was president. And I think that is still being accomplished to this day. And we always got a good turnout of members who acted as chaperones.
I met these people who were accepting of us as new people out of Brentwood, and I said, this is a fun place to be. I think I want to be a part of this. So my favorite memory looking back is how much I was accepted by the club members at that time.
Well, good evening, fellow Rotarians in Brentwood. This is Gene calling from Carlsbad, California. I grew up in Rotary with my grandfather having 38 years of perfect attendance. As a child, he would often take me to Rotary meetings, and as he became older and I was able to drive, I would take him to Rotary. That experience shaped my life, the whole concept of service above self. And it just was a good framework and foundation for my life.
The high school football field had a stadium that in the wintertime, the wind would whistle through it and really make everybody cold. And so we got a project together where we could nail sheets of corrugated sheet metal on the back side. And so we managed to gather up the funds to purchase them or get them free somewhere and then nail them onto the back side of the stadium so that it was a little more comfortable for the people that came to see. That was our biggest work project that particular year.
My favorite memory from Brentwood Rotary was, despite all of the good friends, good people, good laughs that we had, was being able to place the Paul Harris medallions on my three children's shoulders when they turned in 8th grade. Our club has a tradition where when a baby is born, the club passes the hat, and the new parent or grandparent has to match the contributions, and a Paul Harris Fellowship is established.
My favorite memory of my year as Rotary Club president was that we actually went on a wheelchair distribution trip to Monterrey, Mexico with the Wheelchair Foundation. And that was an amazing experience.
There was so much that the club accomplished during my year as president. I know we don't have enough time to cover everything. However, during that year, we were able to resume and continue some perennial projects that we've become accustomed to doing, but weren't able to do in the few years prior due to COVID. So this included back to school shopping. It included our home team that helps seniors, and just some of the basic hot dog and pancake grilling that we do for local school events. Again, things that we had done traditionally but weren't able to do for a few years.
During my year, my best memory was the collaboration with Dr. Theus Kishi. We actually wrote a grant for Village Community Resource Center. We brought the former city manager, Gus Vina, in to read to the children at the Resource Center, and it was in Spanish and English. And I think that the kids through that were able to see the possibilities.
We were, every year we've been involved with the Brentwood Regional Community Chest. And it was the first year, I was president that year, and it was the first year that I went to the toy sort that they did at the CD print building. And I just remember standing there watching all of these people doing all of these things for our community, and I just started crying. I was just like, it was just this overwhelming emotion of just the community coming together and just, having this amazing event to be a part of.
Well, I think one of the things that you learn is that everybody has their own strengths, and we all have our own weaknesses. So on the positive side, I love the fact that men would step up and take on an assignment they probably weren't comfortable with. I love that part, and there was always a training meeting for them to prepare to take care of one of the areas of service. The sad part was when someone wouldn't, just decided to not do anything. All they were interested in was coming to have lunch. So there was that disappointing part, but 90% of the time, if they get an assignment to serve in a particular area, they'd step up to the plate, and I really liked that.
With Interact, we participated with other people in the district, and we did a leadership camp up in the Redding area, and kids from all over California came and went to this for a couple of days, and we were leaders in that. And that was a really rewarding experience.
For my year, I would say there was probably 3 really big accomplishments. The first one would be the revitalization and reorganization of our club endowment. The second would have been the international project that we did down in Mexico, where we built a water station for a community in Mexico that provided fresh water to all of that community, which they had never had before. This was also a community that we had done in the past, had worked with in the past, and had built casitas and built little small homes for them. So that was really exciting. And the last one would be the 75th annual anniversary party. That is going to be a really fun event and something that I feel has been really, really important to commemorate the anniversary of 75 years of our wonderful club.
We had a project for the centennial, and we purchased and installed, or had installed, the clock that's in front of the Brentwood Police Department. So if you go and you look, there's an old style clock out there. One of the faces facing the building is actually the rotary wheel, and the outside is the Brentwood. But that's a fond memory of having that clock get installed during our presidency.
Where we got involved with the Rotary Club of Napa, and this one was near and dear to my heart, where we were able to participate with them to help through what was called the Rotary Ride for Veterans, and help veterans coming back from the Iraq and Afghanistan war with PTSD, and help them get settled back in the community, help them with their with their PTSD issues. And we were able to do that for about 10 years and send about $100,000 their way. So, you know, just getting people involved, getting them serving their community in a way that they are excited about, and then that just helps the community so much.
It really blew my mind that there were almost 100 at the time leaders within our community that were meeting every week to be of service and make a difference in people's lives, not just locally, but on a global scale. That was remarkable and mind-boggling. That was over 10 years ago, and I had drank the blue Kool-Aid right from that minute and knew that I was going to be a Rotarian for life, and just adored the club and the mission that we're on together.
We don't know what the next 75 years will bring for the city, but rest assured the Rotary Club of Brentwood will continue to give its time, treasure, and talent generously to the local and global community. Thank you all for being here this evening, and thank you for your continued support of the Rotary Club of Brentwood.
Hi, this is past President Jean Clare. Happy anniversary, Brentwood Rotary. Here's a little song for you. Happy anniversary to us, 75 years of service, to all those in need. We're united in Rotary. We know that we have done our best when we met the four-way test. Happy anniversary to Brentwood Rotary. Happy anniversary to us. Happy anniversary.